Hi, everybody. It's Deanna Fenton here. I want to welcome you to this week's edition of Simple Steps to Online Success. This is the video show that helps course and membership site creators build a profitable business without all that tech overwhelm. Well, today I'm excited to share with you some recent updates to the Kajabi platform. For those of you who are not familiar with Kajabi, it is an all-in-one platform that is designed for course and membership site creators to be able to build those profitable businesses with all the tools necessary integrated on the one platform. Today, I'm going to talk about two new releases, one that is available currently to all Kajabi customers and one that is in a slow rollout. Um, Even I don't have access to it. I was really shocked when members of my Kajabi Flight Crew Club were saying, "Oh, yeah, I was told I had it." And I'm like, I don't have it. I generally do get a lot of the releases even early. And this one I didn't, but I can still tell you all about it. And it is one that has been highly requested, but I think it's very confusing to most people. So we're going to talk a little bit about email delivery. But first, and this is the rollout of Kajabi's new website builder that I'm going to talk about first, which also had been requested for a very long time. Up until now, there had been a recommended way, the way that I've built my website, and I would recommend my students and members build their website, which is using Kajabi's landing pages to create all the various pages for your public facing website. I am going to differentiate between the pages that are public and the part of your website that is behind the scenes that only your course students or members would see. And I'm going to talk about both of those. So, again, up until recently, um, especially when Kajabi went from one particular theme that was called Premiere and upgraded it to a new theme called Encore. Encore allowed us to be more creative and have more control over building our pages with a lot of different functionality that didn't exist. So those were individual landing pages. However, the website portion, primarily the public facing pages, was still using the old Premiere theme. So you didn't have that level of customization that you might have wanted. So I'm going to show you today what has changed and kind of my opinion or my viewpoint on what we can do with this. Um, I have found one thing that I'm a little not concerned about, but it has made me think through how I am going to implement this because I haven't implemented it yet myself, but I plan to. And the reason is there's kind of an all or nothing aspect to this. Uh, so let me just go ahead and show you. So before I can go off on that. So let's go uh, to my screen. And in fact, I am going to go full screen so you have a better view. Now, when you log into your Kajabi site, we've always had this area here called website. The website allows us to design these website pages. Now, I'll have to tell you, not everybody's going to use all of these pages necessarily. Certainly, if you are going to host your public facing website on another platform, which some people do, some people have a WordPress site and they host a lot of their information there, including their blog, you might not care that there is a blog uh, option down here to customize. Now, this I'm going to share with you, I think was one of the most confusing and frankly, a little frustrating aspects of creating a website on Kajabi. Under this website, you had the option to create a homepage. So this is the homepage, the page that people land on when they type in your domain name. Now, because it was using the old Premier theme and the customization was very limited, a lot of people didn't want to use this as their homepage. So they were using the landing pages to allow them to do more customization, more control over where they placed images and text, animations, optimizing the site for mobile. I mean, there were a lot of benefits to creating your homepage using Pages, which was the landing page builder. So this was the main thing that Kajabi was trying to get through is let's give the home page here the same level of customization that Pages has, which they have done. Now, does that mean you need to recreate your home page? Absolutely not. I mean, there's really no difference if you've already created your home page using a landing page. There's no need to really go in and redesign it in this homepage. And the benefit of that is you also have the control to indicate what page on your site is your homepage. So because you have that control, you indicate that your homepage is the page that was created under landing pages and you're good to go. So for someone like myself, that this is a no-brainer. I'm going to keep using the landing page that I created as my homepage. I'm not going to change anything. Now, when we get into some of these other areas, this is where things become different. And I'm going to tell you, for example, I'm going to jump ahead to the blog. Now, many people were disappointed that you really didn't have much in the way of options to customize your blog. It was pretty bare bones, pretty straightforward. So the big advantage now with this new release is now you have all the benefits that you have with a landing page to be able to customize your blog. Now, one of the things that I liked in particular, and you can see this is just giving an initial view, and this was sort of the standard way it was before without any options to customize. But now if I click on my blog listings, I have different layout options. So instead of a list version, which is what this is and was the previous version, I can now do a 2-column grid where it shows my featured image, the title, any tags that I've associated with that post, the date it was published, and I can control that. I can say, I don't want to show the tags, or I don't want to show the date. I don't want to show the content. I just want to show the title and the custom image. So, and different people have different viewpoints on this, right? So different people may want to have all of those things showing or only some of those things showing. So that's why it's really interesting that now we have the control to show or hide all of those options. And we can also create a 3-column grid, which is kind of the one I like. I can tell you right here, this is not good. This is an embedded podcast player that is clearly not responsive in this view. So in that case, I might say I don't want to show my content, or I only want to show a small amount of my content there. Now, going back to this, you also have the option to put your posts and your images left aligned with your categories in a sidebar. Now, honestly, I've never been super fond of sidebar on a blog. And I could also do it where they're aligned on the right. So again, a little more customization, a little more options that we have available to be able to customize this blog. So from my standpoint, I do intend on using this, and I would most likely do a 3-column grid, um, and be able to modify this, maybe not show my tags. I do like, since the majority of my actual blog posts are recordings from this video show that these are videos. So you can see if I uncheck show video, well, first of all, it doesn't show the video at all, but it will show on my thumbnails, there's a play button. So it will tell somebody that is a video post. You can also see here, instead of continue reading, which would only show if we show our content, you could say read more. You can indicate how many individual posts you want to show. You can indicate whether or not you do want to show the sidebar or not. And then within the sidebar, you can add additional content. And once again, from an important standpoint, you can have a mobile view. So I'm going to click down here in the lower right-hand corner and switch to mobile view. And I can check and make sure that the blog is going to display the post in the mobile view the way that I want. And if not, then I can go ahead and modify that with the padding, for example. Okay, let's switch back to desktop. So that was the first and probably most significant change. And again, that for me was pretty important. My blog is very important to me. I want to make it as user-friendly and as visually attractive as possible so people can consume my content. So the blog is going to be something really important. The other change is your library page, and this is where your members, meaning your course students or members of your membership, log in. This always had a little bit of customization where you could, this is really interesting. Oh, let me give you an important distinction here. When you are editing these various pages under this website builder, you primarily access them from this drop down in your lower left-hand corner. So if I want to look and modify my login, I needed to click down here and go to login. Now, I had customized mine with an image and text that let people know that this was my site. I see a lot of people forget to modify this, and it just says login, and I could be logging into anybody's site. I want to brand my login page and make sure that people know that they're in the right place to access my content. So I would go in there and modify this. So within the login, some of the changes that you can do, like I said, I have an image that typically shows up at the top. But now I believe, yeah, now they have an option for a background image. There we go. So I could actually have a video. I'm not sure why I would do that, but I could have a video as my background to my login screen. Or more likely, what I would want to do is have a nice background image that, again, supports my branding and lets people know that they are in the right place. So login is an important one. Library is what your members, again, course students and members, see when they log in. So initially what happens is they land in their library where they can see a display of all the products that they own or have access to. But Kajabi has given us a bit more flexibility in this. We can now create an offer storefront So we could make recommendations. For example, if you own this course, you might be interested in this course. So here you can choose to select an offer for another course. You can also have multiple storefronts. You can see here we've got collection A and collection B. So once again, you can kind of customize it. If you are looking for content about building your list, here are the products that would be most helpful. If you're looking for content that is about yoga poses, yoga workouts, here are all the yoga workouts. So you can customize this storefront with the offers, perhaps based on somebody's interests. And just like our other pages using this theme, we can add additional content, text, 2-column text, forms, hero images, feature cards, opt-in forms, images. So you can customize this library just like you customize a landing page. So that's a really, I think that covers a lot of things that people wanted. Now, here's a couple of things, and this happened this week with one of my members, that she wasn't aware that there is a default thank you page. So if you don't create a thank you page for any opt-in or offer that you create, if you don't designate a custom thank you page, this is what people see. So this is a little discouraging if somebody was like, well, I want to give them specific information about the next steps, or I want it to be custom. Then you want to make sure you either modify this default thank you or you create a custom thank you for every opt-in or perhaps even every offer. So she wasn't aware of that, and she was disappointed that somebody had purchased an offer from her and this is what they saw. And she was like, why is that? So here again, we have the flexibility now. You could do a lot of things with this thank you page. You could embed a video, for example, where you congratulate people on their purchase, or give people next steps to make sure that the emails land in their inboxes. So you have all of the different flexibility here that you have in landing pages. Similar to that, and it was funny because I did an example of this with my members recently, is something that's called your 404 page, which is a widely, it's the default error message on the internet if your browser can't find the page that somebody entered. So it's simply trying to direct people that page doesn't exist and direct them back to your homepage. There are a lot of people, if you ever Google funny or best 404 error pages, you will see there are some very clever people out there who have really customized this error page, one, to make it lighthearted and not so stiff and boring, but also then to direct people in the right direction. So that might be something you want to look at. There is also pages here, and this is something that I'm a little not sure about, because once again, having built my website using just the Kajabi landing pages, I don't know that there is a significant benefit to doing it here, right? If I've already created my About Us page, it's exactly the same thing, and I'm not sure that I see a huge benefit to it. There is also a store. Now, I don't know that a lot of Kajabi users use a store. It can be really effective, especially if you have a lot of maybe low-cost offers or free offers that people can opt in for. But you can actually just make a store with links to offers. So perhaps if you had a low-cost mini offer that was evergreen, that you had available all the time, if you had a particular ebook that was available all the time, you can build an actual store with a display of all those offers. So those are kind of the main pages. So let me show you that when this was released, and I land perfectly on where I wanted to land, we're looking at here the Encore site using the Encore theme. And that, again, is the improvement over the previous option for building a website. Now, if I choose pick a theme, and you might remember when Encore for the landing pages was released, it gave us some beautiful templates. In fact, that's kind of why I'm going to share with you. I'm not super impressed with these templates right now. There's not that many. Kajabi is promising there will be more. But for an individual page, we were given a good assortment of pre-built themes that were a starting point for us to be able to either build out a home page, a landing page for an opt-in, etc. For the website, they have the basic one, which is called Streamlined, which is pretty much a blank canvas. I mean, it gives you a little bit of structure, but it's not super highly designed like some of the other ones. So this is one that you can take and modify, add your images, and it's kind of a basic format to get you started. Now, they did come out with 3 themes. There is Kim, Carl, and Amelia. Now, what I find interesting is Kim and Carl are the characters that Kajabi is using in their most recent advertising campaign, where Kim is a fitness trainer and Carl is a chef who is starting to teach cooking online. So they've created these websites as if they are for these characters. Amelia is new, and I am going to show you Amelia because actually it's rather nice. It's a very feminine theme, and it is pretty nice. But if I click on Kim, you can kind of get a sense of it's pretty clean. It's pretty simple. The fonts are not super custom or anything. And you can look at it and get a sense of, I could see with my branding, my modifications, the Kim theme might work for me. Because again, you are not locked into any of these sections. You're not locked into the colors or the fonts. But if you feel the layout is a good fit, then you go with that. Now, the Carl one, again, very clean. I'm sorry, if I'm looking at it as if it was a real website, it's kind of like, I don't get it. It doesn't share a lot. It doesn't really have a hero image. So again, though, you might even like how these, because these could be blog posts or most likely are blog posts. You like the formatting, you like the layout, you could just take this and make it your own. Now, Amelia, as I mentioned, Amelia is nice. It's, again, quite feminine, but maybe for a lot of us, maybe it's nice. It has a different use of a cursive font. It's using Google fonts, so it's got a cursive font. I happen to know that one's called Sacramento, which is near where I live. So this one is kind of nice. Now, I'm going to go ahead and choose Amelia, and I am going to share with you the one thing that I want you to be aware of is once you install this theme, and of course, I install the theme, I don't have to make it active right away. I have the option to go in here and click the little artist palette for customization. And once I click customize, once again, I have the option. I can modify this to fit my branding, the things that are important to me to highlight because it defaulted to the home page. Now, if I click on login, you can see the login carries over the branding with, for example, the font. And it also pulls in the default logo that they have. And they have the similar colors for the branding for the social media icons. So what I'm trying to get across to you is when you opt for a theme, all of these parts use that theme. So if you are going to use, say you're very excited about modifying the blog page, or any of the other pages, and you want to use a theme, it's going to change all the other pages. So you can't go in there and use the theme, one of these themes, for your blog without editing your login and your library, because those two in particular, everybody's going to see, right? Your members are going to see all the time. So you can't overlook the fact that you have to customize all of these. And like I said, that was one thing that I kind of found and went, oh, wow, well, that's different. So here, for example, the library looks different, right? It looks different than the old default library. And in some cases, it looks really much nicer, but again, if you're going to utilize any of these themes for any of the pages, my understanding right now is you're going to have to modify everything using that theme. But so again, just to let you know. Now, I'm going to look at the blog option using this theme, because the other thing too is you might install some of these just to get ideas on what you might want to do. So this default one, the blog listings are showing, again, the blog listings are using the default heading font, which is that Sacramento font, which you may or may not want, and all the logos and all of that. So that's the only thing that I really want to make sure that everybody understands is once you do this and you intend to use one of these themes, you're going to have to modify everything. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is, again, something that is new. Actually, I could show you exactly using that example here. There is something new that I think is super exciting. It has tremendous potential. I'm not sure how well it's going to work right now. And that is one of the new options is to have a member directory, which I think is fantastic. I think a lot of people wanted something like this. And you can see these are all like this is my my demo site. Sorry, I'm blanking out on the words. My demo site. So this particular, I'm the only member. So a couple things with the member directory. It will show if they opt in. So first of all, your members, and guess what? If you granted people free offers like mini courses for an opt-in or something like that, they're considered a member because they have a login. If they agree to be added to your directory, they're going to show up. At this point, I don't know of any way to, limit your member directory to just a set group of people. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm going to open this up so you can take a look at it. So in the member directory, and I guess if I click on, I'm not going to see anything because I don't really. Well, it's going to show, and it actually does show my social media. They can share their social media links in their profiles. So that's something to keep in mind. And I noticed when I did mine in the beta test, it showed everybody. So if I have people who opted in for my free resource library, they were showing as members as well. Now, this goes back to something like your in the library, I'm going to go ahead and preview this one too. So once again, even somebody that perhaps had opted in for a free offer, I think it's conceivable they're going to see everybody in your member directory. Oh, now it wants me to opt to sign in. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, frankly. So the option is you don't have to have that in your navigation. So again, with all the customization that we can do, I can choose not to show a link list that is my member. Let's make sure that that is it. I can opt to not show this link list or remove the member directory from it. So like I said, I see great advantages to having a member directory, but I would prefer to be able to see it only for people that have purchased a specific product. Okay, I'm going to flash back over here and just check in. So that's really the primary thing I wanted to share with you today, because I know people were wondering about it. And so the main takeaways that I want to express to you is, if you've already built your site and you're happy with it, there is no need to recreate your homepage using the new website builder. However, if you want to take advantage of customizing your library, customizing your blog, customizing your login page, I think it's a great opportunity to do that and do something very special. Just know that you're going to need to customize all those pages if you opt to use the new theme or any of the pre-built themes that Kajabi has offered. Okay. And I did want to talk a little bit about custom email domains. So this is another thing that Kajabi just released and announced. It is in a slow rollout. So if you don't see any message about this or anything like that, like me, don't worry, it is coming. Obviously, when Kajabi makes a new release, they want to slowly roll it out in case there are any problems. So rather than impact, I don't even know how many users they've got, 100,000 users out there all at once, they take it out in small groups to be able to react if there's any issues. And then also from a support standpoint, because can you imagine if you release it to a huge amount of people and they all start having questions and inundating support, it becomes a big nightmare. Now, custom email domain has been really requested quite a bit. I'm kind of on, I don't know whether it's a great thing or not for myself. It could be. So what I would encourage you to do, and I am going to go back to sharing my screen, is I would really recommend that you go to this blog post on Kajabi called "What is Email Deliverability? Definition and Tips for Improving Your Rate." The reason for a custom email domain, in short, is people feel that it improves the deliverability of your emails. And whether that's true or not, I think is kind of debatable. It's not cut and dried for everybody. And here is the reason why. One of the things, I looked this number up, 43% of email users in the world use Gmail. I thought, figures, right? It's Google. Everybody's using it. Gmail's number one priority is to protect your inbox. So that is why when you get those emails from, the Nigerian prince who wants to offer you $1 million, Gmail has the ability to see, one, that email was sent out to millions of people, and two, millions of people marked it as spam, right? So the source of where that email came from, meaning that person's domain, becomes a red flag. So Gmail can take the information it's receiving to identify the fact that that sender is a spammer and is not something that should be landing in our inboxes. So these email services have the ability to identify whether or not a sender is a good sender or a bad sender. And what happens is the reputation of the source of where that email came from becomes a qualification on whether or not these emails end up in your inbox. Now, and you'll see here, if you read this blog post, if you're sending from an IP or a domain with a bad reputation, you have to be especially cautious about what you send and to whom. So Kajabi has maintained that because their domain, and you may realize this, that when your emails go out, the default it is your name at kajabimail.net. I apologize. I should have checked that. I forget. I'm going off the top of my head, but it's a Kajabi domain. It is not your website domain. Well, the reason for that is Kajabi has been very, very careful to build up their reputation as a safe sender to try and improve the fact that our emails, no matter if you're sending to 100 people or 100,000 people, get through and are not marked as spam or blocked by our email services as potentially spammy. And I know some of you are going to say, but my emails from Kajabi are ending up in the spam filter. There's a lot of reasons why that could happen. That's happening, but this is one way of trying to ensure that the emails get into the inbox. So because there are people that perhaps have been emailing using their domain previously, their domain has a reputation of being a good sender, and they don't want, from a branding perspective, to have their emails coming from my kajabimail.net, whatever, and they want their domain. That is why Kajabi has set this up. Once again, is it a good thing? For some people, it is a good thing. For some people, it may not make any difference at all. I'm just saying. Now, I do want to address one thing because I see so many people really, really ticked off, and this has to do with Gmail. Those of you who use Gmail, and again, 43% of the email users in the world use it, you can have the option of a primary inbox, a social inbox, an update inbox, and a promotions inbox. And we refer to those, of course, as the promotions tab or the updates tab, etc. People get very upset that their emails sent through Kajabi end up in updates or promotions. Well, that's Gmail doing its job because technically it got in your inbox. Because your inbox is segmented by primary, and primary is going to be generally individual email addresses of people that you talk to or communicate with frequently, or you have marked that an email sender as an important email sender, and therefore it shows up in your primary tab. This is Gmail doing its job, and it's a job that we've accepted if you have your inbox set up this way. All Gmail's trying to do is sort your emails. It's going to show you primary, which are the ones that you either communicate with people individually on a regular basis, frequent basis, or you have indicated this is an important email. Otherwise, an update, like when I send out my announcements to my members, they're probably going to end up in updates. If I'm going to send out an email that is more of a promotional nature, Gmail's not stupid. Gmail may stick it in the promotions tab. So what happens is we need to be careful about how we send our emails, the wording that we use, because some of the wording in our subject lines and etc. may tend to have Gmail, one, either call it spam, or two, assume it's promotional and put it. And then, pardon me, the unfortunate thing is we need to try and educate our people as much as we can to give us the authority and the permission to land in that primary tab by having them mark our emails as important. I honestly don't use Yahoo, which Yahoo is, I found these sources. Yahoo has 26% of the market share, and Outlook has 6%. Outlook tends to be a bit more with institutional, businesses using Outlook. But there are ways that we can ask our people to whitelist our emails to make sure that they get in the inbox, at least a inbox in the case of Gmail. So when it comes down to this custom domain, so once again, should you do it? I don't know. There are some benefits. If you send out, actually, I did read, I think under this help article, if you send out 100,000 emails a month because you have a list and you're communicating with that list significantly and multiple times, your domain may have some credibility, in which case maybe doing this would help your deliverability into at least not landing in spam, or ideally maybe getting in that primary tab. So because I cannot show you exactly how to do this right now because I don't see how it's set up in Kajabi, but they're in their help center. Here is the information about connecting a custom email domain. I would really encourage you that you read it. And one of the things that you need to do, and those of you who have done a custom domain for your website, you are going to have to dive into your DNS records, either through Cloudflare or through your domain registrar. And I know managing your DNS records is not everybody's favorite thing to do. Frankly, not my favorite thing to do either, but I know I can do it. So they do have information with some specific domain registrars on how to do it. And also with Cloudflare, for example, my main website, mine is through Cloudflare. I will need to go in there and add 2 text records, 2 MX records, and a CNAME record to be able to use that. So it's one of those things, again, you might want to do a little research on your own to be able to decide whether or not that is something that you want to take on yourself, and determine yourself how important it actually is to your business. So watch for a notice coming in when you log into your Kajabi site about establishing an email custom domain. Do the research again ahead of time to decide whether or not that actually is something that you feel would be a benefit for yourself. And that's kind of it for today, I guess. Once again, we covered today Kajabi's new website builder and some of the available themes, the idea of being able to update the way your blog looks, having greater control of customization of some of these key pages on your website, and also then the custom email domain. I am going to check real quick. Okay, I think that's good. If this kind of information, as well as taking it a step farther in how you actually use these new tools with Kajabi, you might be interested in my membership, the K Flight Crew Club. And the K Flight Crew Club, we do twice weekly Q&A calls. We do monthly training. Those are the people I go to first to share all of these new updates and tell them whether or not it's important to them, and more importantly, how to do it themselves and be able to stay up to date, have their website and their funnels performing at top speed. So if you are interested, you could go to deannafenton.com/join the crew. I will be raising the price at the end of the year. Right now, the cost is $57 a month, and you get a tremendous amount of specific one-on-one attention, even though we're in a group, because we have a great, helpful bunch of people. As one of my members likes to say, it's more like a mastermind, and she got more for her money than she expected because we help support, brainstorm, and feedback with all of the members to be able to make sure that everybody is succeeding with their Kajabi platform. So that's it for this week. I hope you have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. So once again, this is Deanna Fenton, and we'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye.